Right, so the first thing you want to do, of course, is to open up Inkpad. Now they have they have a few examples already up here for you, and I've been playing around with them, so I've got a few examples. But what you do is in the top right hand corner up here, you push plus. See where it has a drop down menu, and you can have it be either portrait or landscape. See down here at the bottom, I'm switching between portrait and landscape. So horizontal or vertical there. So I'm going to have mine be vertical. And then create, and that's going to start you off with a blank. We're just going to go over some of the tools here as I create my own my own silly monster. So remember, the requirements are you have to have at least 10 shapes, you have to have a few symmetrical parts, and you have to have a background, and you also have to have a story about your monster. Alright, so the first thing that we need to talk about are the shapes, because we're talking about shapes. So if you just click and hold that, push and hold, it comes up with your shapes. Now with all of your squares and rectangles, down here, the corner radius, so that's if you want like a rounded rectangle versus a really hard rectangle like that. Now if you don't want things filled in, down here you can click none, you can click gradient, and we'll play around with the gradients later, or you can click the color that you want, and you have to mix your own color. Okay, we're going to do none for now, and I'm going to do now if I want to select the other rectangle, I need to go up to the selecting tool, and the first tool up here is the selecting tool, and now I've selected it. Now the problem is now it looks like my other rectangle has disappeared. It hasn't actually disappeared, it just there's no line. It's not filled in and there's no line. So right here we want to make sure that we have some kind of line there. So I had it just too small, you couldn't see the line. So however much you want the line there. So I want it just like a 4-point line there. That looks good to me. Okay. Or it could have been that it was selected none. We want a black line. So I'm going to click none there, but I do want a line. So I've got none selected. I want to do a color line. Perfect. That looks good. So if I want to move this around, I can't click in the middle of the rectangle. I have to click the side here, like that. I have to click the line of the rectangle. All right, so I've started my little robot here. So then let's look at some of the other shapes here. Hold that down. So we've got an oval here, and that's an oval there. So I'll just put that oval like that. That's going to be my arm. I'm going to move it. Oops. Now see, I accidentally made another oval. I don't want that one. So I'm going to click down here at the bottom and use my trash can to get rid of that. I actually wanted to move it, so I'm going to click the side of the oval, and I'm going to move it over here. Now here's where it gets cool. I use 2 fingers to unpinch and zoom in. So if you want to make your shapes a little bit more organic looking, what you do is you go to the select a point. What you're doing is you're just selecting that point. By selecting that point, you can move that shape. And so now instead of having an oval, I have a crescent. And it gets even better because you can also move these points on the side here, and you can twist your shape. Like that. Now here is another feature. You can go to this tool, the 4th one down here, and you can add some points. And then you can really start to manipulate it. Then go back up to your point mover. Now I've got 2 points selected right there, so I'm moving 2 points at once. If I only want 1 point, then I would just unselect, select, and then just select one of those points. And let's see, I want a point right there. It's the only one that turned purple. Oops. I accidentally selected it twice. I want my point mover. Good. All right. So that kind of looks like an arm there. Or something. I'm going to unpinch it. Now, I want this arm to be a little bit bigger. So I go down to the last tool here, and that will rotate it there. So I can rotate my little arm here. And then the second to last tool is my sizer. So I can make it really big, like that big, which is ridiculous. I don't want it that big. So you kind of have to be careful with it. All right, undo, edit. Wait. There's my undo. Undo's down here at the bottom. So I'm gonna zoom in here. Just want you a little bit bigger. There we go. Just a little bit bigger. There we go. More like, oh, not like that. That big. Ah, finally got it. All right, undo. All right, go back. Whoa. Oops, sorry. Go back to my selection tool. Now, remember I said things have to be symmetrical. So I want this exact same arm, but I want it on the other side. So I'm going to go to Arrange. First I got to Edit, and I'm going to duplicate it. Look, I've got two. I'm going to take that one that's already selected, my already duplicated one, and I am going to flip it horizontally. Flip. And there it is, symmetrical, just like that. And then I'm going to move it over here. Ta-da! All right. Now, another cool shape here. So we've got our stars, and what's fun about the stars is you can have a 12-pointed star. You can have a 13-point or 22-pointed star. You can have your more traditional, like, 5-pointed star here. So you can have all kinds of different stars if you want. Polygons here. Any kind of polygon all the way up to 20. So you can have a dodecahedron if you would like. All the way from 3 from a triangle to a dodecahedron, which practically just looks like a circle. Okay, so I don't want those, so I'm going to trash those. Select, trash, select, trash. You can have spirals. The amount of radius is kind of how spirally it is, so you can kind of play around with that and see what you like. So sort of the most traditional looking spiral is, let's see here, probably around the 75% there. Maybe 80% would be the more traditional. I'm going to erase those because I don't want them. And I go to my selection tool to select and erase, select and erase, select and erase, select and erase. And then of course you have just your straight up line. Now when we have our line, one of the nice things about our line is we can manipulate our line, and we can put points in our line, and that's how we make a squiggly line. So once we put points in our line, then we can use our point mover and we can make a zigzag line. Or, so that's how we would make a zigzag line like that. So that's fun. And if I wanted that to be the leg, maybe what I do is then go to Edit, Duplicate. Whoops, I accidentally had two things selected there. Undo. Edit, Duplicate, and then move it. And look, my two lines have now made a space. Or here, let's do that. Let's try that again. There we go. And then I'm just gonna move that line right there. And now my two lines have made a space. Cool. All right, so I want to select both of these, and I do that with my point mover also. Is if I want to select multiple things, I do that also with my point mover. I'm going to duplicate that and flip it horizontally, and then move it over here. And then I'm going to put some feet on here, like that. And duplicate it. put it over here. Now the problem with this right now is that I have a bunch of shapes and I don't have, but they're not filled in. So I have a bunch of lines, they're not filled in. So let's start filling things in. So remember, if I want to fill in multiple things at once, I use the second tool on the side here. And I'm going to go to fill, I'm going to go to gradient, excuse me. And I can fill it in like this so it looks more 3D. I can manipulate that, see how much I want to do there, put it like that so it looks like that. I could change the color to just about any color, it's just a matter of mixing your colors. I could do something crazy like that. Or if you want, I'm just going to have just a regular color here. And they've got a few here pre-made for you if you want. Or you can go and mix your own color. Okay. Now, because these are not actually a shape, you can't fill them in, so that is a bit of a problem. You might want to use a rectangle instead because you're going to have trouble filling that in. Oops. But I can fill my feet in at least. I think I'll fill my feet in like black. Oops. Whoa, that's cool. But not what I wanted. Okay. Okay. Now, my robot is not done, obviously, but I don't want to take up all your time. I might finish up later. What I want to show you is layers. So right now I have one layer, and I want to add another layer. And then, of course, you can also go to the internet, find something that you want. I'm going to go to Google. And I'm going to put in space pictures, and go to images. And I love that one, that looks awesome. Click and hold, and you can save your image and it goes straight to your camera roll. Okay, then go back to InkPad. Now I need to make sure that I'm actually selected the second layer, otherwise this won't work, and that the second layer is under the first layer because your robot is overlapping. And then using my moving tool here. Oh no, I need to use my sizing tool to make it bigger. And I'm going to make my space nice and big. Space, the final frontier. Now, I am in the second layer. If I want to manipulate my robot, I need to go to the first layer. If you have something that looks like that, where you're like, oh my gosh, where did my robot go? Or my monster go? Check your layers. Make sure your layer is under. Your second layer is under your first layer. Okay. I'm going to add some color there. There we go. And try to add some color there. See what happens. Okay, that's just cool. Unexpected. Didn't expect that to happen, but that's what happens when you select both of those. That's just cool. Alright, I'm not ecstatic about my robot, but I think it's pretty cool. It turned out pretty much the way I like it. So you have the basic idea of most of the tools here. You can play around with some of the tools that we didn't go over on your own time, but I wanted to show you the basic tools. When you're all done, you go up, you do the up arrow to upload it to something. You're going to export it as a PNG. That is very important. If you want to export this as a picture to upload it to Artsonia, you have to do that as a PNG, not a PDF, because that's like a Word document that you can't do anything with, and not as a CG or CVG. That would be something we would work with if we were working with a animation app, which unfortunately we cannot do at this time. So that means picture. Then you have to hit the upload again. And I know that's weird, but you have to hit it twice. And you have to do save image. So you're going to save it right there. At that point, you can then go to your Artsonia app, go to student, scan the QR code, and upload it just as you normally would. Okay? All right, and that is just a brief basic tutorial of how to use InkPad.